Moment of silence. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll begin the meeting at 4:05 this Tuesday, July the 16th, 2013. We begin with the names on the list. Have you read the names?
Yes. There is one over on page 2 of the minutes. His name is Snivel.
Okay.
S-N-I-V-E-L-Y.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes with the correction?
So moved.
All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. We don't have any correspondence. Do we have any correspondence? Just want to walk you down.
I didn't see anything.
Now we begin with public comment. I know the chips.
For community resources?
You're already on the list, aren't you?
Yes, and we're all three of us, yes.
I was looking for,
What?
oh. James Bush is not here. President.
Okay.
Beth, how do we do that?
I'll make a motion. In the absence of the president, Ralph Sandora, I will move that Shirley be the president pro tem of this meeting.
Is that it? Good. I hear a motion, everybody.
Okay. Made the motion.
Okay. All in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Now we get back on this list. Jim Bland,
I'm here with Kevin.
Kevin, okay.
ERC.
Tammy Beamer,
Nothing.
Scott Gilhart, Phyllis Posey, Joyce Lee, Betty Robinson, Linda Ergelina, Mariana.
I have a couple of questions, and one of them is, we had presented a petition to the commission quite a while ago, and have really pretty much gotten some responses during the county commission meetings. With the horrific accident that occurred on the Ruddy Interpad, where 5 people were severely injured a couple of weeks ago, I still have very, very serious concerns as far as the drilling activity that's going on in our community. There have also been an occurrence of probably at least 1 major or 2 major vehicle accidents related to drilling per week over the last several months. And I still firmly feel that the county commission should take a stance and initiate or do some zoning as far as, or at the very least, reach out to the DEP, state roads, etc., to get speed limits reduced for the trucks that are traveling on our small 2-lane roads before a school bus gets, children get killed or more people get killed. I know you guys feel that it's not really your responsibility, but as our elected officials, I feel that in some way you can do more than just local residents that are reaching out to these different agencies. And I feel that you should be spokespeople for us. I also still have serious concerns as to the status of our floodplain ordinance. I did some reading earlier today that FEMA had actually listed some guidelines as far as chemicals that are stored on site, benzene and some other stuff that can potentially pollute our waterways and affect county residents. On Saturday, I did some preliminary water well testing at 2 residences on Riggins Run Road. One had had preliminary well water testing done last year and the water was fine. Conductivity readings on Sunday were well over 500. The other residents that did not have preliminary water well testing done, their conductivity readings were also really high. And it is pretty much recommended if it's above a certain level that people do not drink the water. These are people in rural areas. They're close to the area that JB Oil and Gas drilled, and also we have drilling activity by EQT and Terra going on in the area. Now, we have nothing in place to protect people if their water wells go bad, okay? So as my elected officials, I feel like you guys really, really need to start taking some kind of a stand and not pretty much saying you can't do anything, because you can do something. You can do something with zoning. You can do something with doing some additional amendments to the floodplain ordinance that can protect county residents. The other thing that I heard something earlier this week, and I don't know if it's rumor or what, but that when the records room is working overtime like past 4, that there is an individual that is over it that is getting paid by Steptoe and Johnson who is working for Antero. Now, they're my property records that are in there. Other county residents' property records are in there. So whether or not it's a county official, like one of the women that works in there that's over it, I have no issue. But if it's someone that's working for the industry that's overseeing what's going on in the records room, I definitely have issues, and I feel people should know what's going on. And I don't know if it's truth or fiction, but I'd like to get an answer to that as to whether or not
I can
that
answer that.
is.
No one is in charge of my record room but me. And me and my employees are all here. If I'm not here, there's usually 3 or 4 of my girls here.
Okay.
They're the ones that oversee the record.
Okay, question I have is, who is paying their overtime salary? Are they getting overtime?
They do not get anything from the county.
So who is paying their salary when they're here
An
over?
attorney out of his own pocket. Where he gets his money, I have no idea, but he pays them.
So if he's paying them, they are getting paid by someone that does not work for the county. The money that they are getting does not go towards their retirement or towards their benefits or whatever. So essentially, if somebody else that is not an employee of the county is paying them, then really if they're getting paid, then when they're in that particular position, they are not county employees.
Yes, they are, because they do nothing here but work on county work when they're here.
But how can you?
They do not work for these people. They work for me when they're here.
Well, how can you justify somebody else paying them?
We have checked with the state, the auditor's office, and everything. They have okayed this, because I would not have done it otherwise. The only way we can do it, they cannot come in and tell my girls what to do. They cannot come in and take over and set me limitations on what I can do with the records or what I can do with anything else. They cannot do that. But I can leave the office open for them to work, and that's perfectly fine. And if they want to pay the girls, that's fine. The girls just do not charge the county anything, but yet they do county work while they're here. So the county gets 10 hours of free labor for them.
I have,
I mean, can you understand why I have this look on my face? I mean, I think it's great that they're getting paid and that they're getting money. But as a county resident, the records in the record room,
They're being protected. They're not doing anything but they are monitored the whole time.
who's scanning the records and who
My
has...
employees,
Okay, so if the employees are scanning the records, do you have complete and total control over those scanned records
ma'am.
where
yes ma'am.
someone else is not going to put that stuff out online and make
Once
money
they
off
get
it?
copies of it, I can't guarantee that they're not going to put it online. I have no control over it.
But are they paying for the
Yes
copies?
ma'am.
Okay.
That's why last month my copy bill was almost $40,000. So yes ma'am, they're all paying.
I just wanted to clarify because I'm
And
not one...
We told that in the petition that Lynn presented, that they will get no special favors. If they buy a piece of equipment and bring it in, if they pay the girls, they get no special favors for that. They pay for the copies just like you would, Cammy would, or anybody else.
Okay. I just wanted to clear it up because I'm not one for...
No, I am in control of that record group. And I am in control of the scanning and of the records. I am responsible for them. And I will not let anyone do anything to harm those records if I can help it. That's why we are scanning and trying to get things digitized so they will be protected.
Okay, thank you.
Mariana, there's a sign out at Oxford Road that says 15 miles per hour, so I think they're starting to put signs up now.
Is it State Roads that's putting the signs up, or is it the companies? Because I know on Brush Run, EQT has signs out for their drivers. They're drilling up on the Wens Crowder property. And the signs that are up are posted, they're foam core type signs that have been put up by EQT, not by State Roads. I would like to see, like on my gravel road, the speed limit, because it is not posted, the speed limit on my gravel road or any other gravel road in the state is 55 miles an hour. Okay? Something wrong with that picture. The speed limit on Big Flint, I mean, these are roads I'm familiar with. Parts of Big Flint, the speed limit on there is 40 or 45 miles an hour. It is not a good thing for these big trucks. I mean, we've had the truck burnout on Wellings Hill. This past Saturday, there was a crane that went into Little Flint Creek, where Little Flint, or Canton Road as they're calling it now, a crane went and took out the guardrails on the one side. And, you know, you travel the roads. I mean, you know, I've seen what's happened to 18. I'm hearing that Meat House Fork has become a gravel road once again because of the drilling activity that's down in that area. And I worry about people driving those roads. I worry about people that are on limited incomes that are hitting a pothole that they might not necessarily see that's doing damage to their vehicles. And they can't afford the extra expense. There's a part of Big Flint right now by where Lamberts used to live that there is a square that goes in across both lanes that's 2 inches thick. When there is water in that, you can't tell that the hole is there. I have watched trucks drive through that and it sprays water all over the place. So, and I know state roads, our local state roads office is trying to do whatever they can, but the damage is done, and the permits that are issued for these heavy vehicles are issued out of Charleston. Our local office has nothing to do with it. And I have personally spent a lot of time on the phone talking to people at DOT in Charleston. They need to hear from other people, and hearing from people that are in charge in the county might pull some weight. But I just worry, like when the school buses start driving again, and then we have a whole bunch of pipeline jobs that are starting in the region. So that means not just the water trucks, not the drilling rigs that they're pulling in, not the sand trucks, not everything else that's going into these things. We're also going to be looking at trucks carrying pipe for these pipeline jobs. And I don't want to see anybody else hurt or killed. I mean, that's where my concerns are, and I really am concerned about people's water wells. I mean, it blew me away when I checked out these two households. Fortunately, one had had preliminary well testing, but the other folks hadn't.
Now,
You
are they
can't
going to do
afford to
anything
get
with
it
the
done.
well? Will the oil company do anything to help the well with the one that was pre-tested?
They won't do squat because of spacing and distancing. The other thing that's happening that you guys may or may not be aware of is the fact that we have so many old wells that were not necessarily plugged properly. And what is occurring, and they are finding this in other regions, and there's some evidence of it occurring in our county, that with the Marcellus shale drilling, when they start putting the pressure on, there's some cross communication with the old wells. So you got the Marcellus shale stuff, they're pumping in the pressure. You have an old well that's close by, or maybe not even close by, but the pressures are building up in that. So that the shale gas, which is different from the old gas, it's a lot dirtier, there's a lot more stuff in it, and it's a lot wetter. So what you might end up having occur, like people that have free gas that are tapping off the old wells, in this winter, when that stuff happens, if there's cross communication between the Marcellus shale wells and these old wells, you're potentially going to have hazardous air quality situations occurring in people's homes. I mean, one of the things they may notice is just a lot of the black stuff clouding up their walls, black, oily, greasy stuff. But, and a lot of people just aren't aware that it's going to potentially, it's going to be a health hazard, you know, a health hazard. So, you know, I just urge you guys to start speaking up for us. I mean, I've been attending these county commission meetings for the last 7 months, twice a month. I've listened to it all. I've sat through the floodplain stuff. I have learned a lot. It's not necessarily a place I had intended on spending my retirement, but I feel that in the best interest of the community that I'm living in, that somebody has to speak up. And I try to do it in an intelligent manner, but when people's health and their water is being threatened by what's going on, or just the mere fact of getting out on the road and driving, you know? And I know you have, I know exactly, you know, where you're coming from, but you guys do have some power to protect the county residents. You do have that. And, you know, things that I've been reading, you can institute zoning. We are not an industrial community, but yet people are finding themselves living in industrial zones. There is no air quality monitoring going on, and I know what the DEP regs are, but we live in a situation that it's going to be the same stuff with the stuff that's going up in the air from the well pads, from the extraction plants, from the compressor stations, especially in the wintertime when the air gets heavier. When that stuff gets emitted, it's going to lay down in our hollows, and people are going to be breathing it. In the 30s and 40s, they had situations where communities were dying from them using coal up in Pennsylvania. I can't remember the exact town, but the cold air just pushed it down into the valleys, and it just laid there. I mean, granted, now we have, you know, things we can get for our homes as far as carbon dioxide monitoring and stuff like that, but we don't have stuff that's going to check for benzene, toluene, or some of the other air pollutants that are released. Well, yeah,
So would you have us to institute air pollution monitors, or what? I mean, what are you suggesting?
The only thing I'm asking for you guys to do, and I know a lot of this is out of your depth, but the one thing you can do to control some of what's going on is to start instituting some zoning regulations. You know, we have the 3 schools along that 50 corridor. We have the high school, there are Marcellus shale wells that are close to it. We have the elementary school and the middle school. All of those things are really close to that Mark West plant. The Mark West plant, similar situation as here up in Pennsylvania, had some severe stuff going on a couple of days ago. And I don't know, I mean, I've tried sending you guys emails, and I don't know if you read them or not, about just information on what's going on, what the health effects are, and I think the stuff that I've been sending you has been from reliable sources, not, you know, fractivists or whatever, but information from scientists, information from credible people. And I've been selective in what I pass on to you. But like I said, once again, I don't know if you read it or if you just blow it off and delete it, but it's useful information because you're living here too. You're living here too. You're breathing the air and you're driving the roads. So,
As far as the roads go, I have seen that there is a commission that is, what they're primarily, it's my understanding that what they're primarily focusing on is ways to fund our highway repairs and improvements. But they're meeting at various places around the state, and I can't remember. I've got something at home that indicates the different meeting dates and places, and there were about 8 or 10 maybe. And but the purpose is to discuss, and it's for public input. And if you want to contact me, I'll try to find that and find out what the dates and the locations are, and you can attend that if you wish.
I would be happy to attend it, but I also think there would be more power in the attendance if some of the county commissioners attended, because you speak for the people in the county. Like I said, I have been, and I know about those meetings, and I have called and talked to and have sent emails to Maddox, who's the secretary for the DOT. I've talked to Stallings, who is the head construction guy. But it's what's going on in the county, particularly if Mr. Lopez wants to fix something. Some of the stuff he wants to fix, his hands are tied because he's not getting approval from Bridgeport or from Charleston. Okay? And some of these situations are I think the pipeline slip on Route 23. Okay, that occurred last week. So Lopez is doing a good job, as good a job as he can under the constraints that he has. So, and I've read the reports from some of the public meetings that they had. And I have been sending my comments in. I have been doing that.
Well, that's, whether or not, as a county commissioner, whether it would carry any more weight, we don't know that. But we have conveyed, at least to one individual, that all of the laws should. We have conveyed our request that all laws should be observed. And just like you're talking about the speed limit, that's been an issue with us for many years. That the speed limit in front of our house is 55. But once again, we can't you know, that's a Department of Highways.
Right, once again, all I'm asking is that you voice your opinions on behalf of the county residents, requesting that some of this stuff be lowered. That's all I'm asking. I realize that you pretty much can't make that decision, but all I am asking is that you folks, as county commissioners, stand up and speak for the county residents. That's all I'm asking. That's all. I realize the limitations you work under. I realize what your responsibilities are. But I also know that if you are in public office, your voice might carry more weight than Mrs. Smith that lives on Doe Run when she calls. You know, that's all I'm asking. I don't expect you to perform miracles, but just because it's been there forever doesn't mean that it's right.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I don't have any problem voicing and adding my voice to the concerns. It's just that, you know, I'm aware of our limitations just the same as you are, although I tend to think, now this is my personal opinion, I tend to think that different than you think as far as the effect of our voices as a county commission. Goodrich County is a small county.
Right.
Doesn't mean we don't try, but you know, we just have a fundamental difference in our opinion about our influence. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try, but it means that I'm realistic.
Right, and I appreciate whatever you guys do, and I definitely thank you all for giving us an opportunity to speak up. But the playing field has changed in this area. The playing field has changed. We are in the midst of something that this county has not necessarily ever seen before. And it's a different playing field. And
And as to your comment about zoning, this is just my feeling, but if we were to try that, there were let's just say several comments made to me about the floodplain ordinance and the county intruding upon the rights of people who own property in the floodplain. And if we were to institute or begin the process of zoning, I'm sure that there would be a lot of people upset. But there again, you know, that's something that we have to consider. But anyway.
thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say to the commission that EMS in Douglas County, on my end of it, as far as working with the other agencies, things has improved and the agencies are working well together. We have had some real bad instances, and Dodge EMS has stepped up and done a wonderful job. Our crews have worked well together, and I just wanted to stand and give them that praise for working together with us.
Brittany Cams. Okay, that's all they